Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're talking about the 5 most underrated hikes in San Diego. As always, if you disagree with anything that I have said or I'm gonna put up, feel free to drop in a comment down below. Would love to hear if there's a different hike in San Diego that I've either missed, have not done yet, that you think deserves to be on this list. So these are the way that I would order them, but there is some conversation to be had about some of these being closer to number 1, closer to number 5, etc.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Number 5, we're talking about Viejas Mountain Trail. Now there's 2 main reasons for this. This is not a very well-known hike here in San Diego. It's only roughly 3 miles and it's incredibly steep the entire way up. As you can see here, elevation gain is around 1,500 feet in out and back trail. Now, 1,500 feet elevation gain in about 1.5 miles is a lot. It's pretty uphill, but I've been up here once for sunset, and I'll put some of the photos here. Was absolutely fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful views of the hills and mountains and the peaks nearby. This is definitely on the underrated side of San Diego hiking. It's a trail that you don't hear much about, but would definitely recommend that you check out.
Baby, I like it.
Number 4, we have Eagle Rock via the PCT. Now this actually doesn't have a lot of elevation, so we're going opposite. 6.5 miles, a little under 1,000 feet elevation gain, and it is an out and back trail. Now the reason I like this hike, 2 main reasons. Number 1, it's a giant rock that looks like an eagle. What's not to love? It's a very unique hike. It's on the PCT, so you get to hike a little bit on the PCT. The reason why this makes number 4 on the list is because of the change in scenery. So this starts very, it has a very elfin forest type of feel to it, where you're a bit more, there's a stream nearby, you're in some trees, and then you kind of come out of that and it completely changes to this desert look. Very unique, very beautiful, but having both within the same hike, not incredibly common around San Diego. Number 3, we have Oakzanita Peak in Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. This is underrated because it's not where the rest of the hikes in Cuyamaca State Rancho Park are. So you have Stonewall, which is my favorite hike in San Diego. There's multiple ways to get to Stonewall. You have Cuyamaca Peak, multiple ways to get to Cuyamaca Peak. We've covered the Marty Minshaw Trail, which is just slightly north of where the state park campground and bathroom sites are. Middle Peak, which is around that area as well. But actually about 10 minutes south of that, there is a place to park where you can hike up to Oakzanita Peak. Now I covered this in the video, but there's actually a spot, especially if you're going for sunrise or sunset, not on the peak itself, but right before that you can see the meadow and the forest of the Cleveland National Forest. And it is absolutely beautiful. Make sure you check out that video. I cover where to kind of hang out at if you want to see some magnificent views.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Number 2 is Eagle Peak via the Three Sisters Falls. Honestly, this is debatable. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to get to. The road there is bumpy, and that's something that people don't expect. Again, make sure you watch that trail guide. 4.2 miles, a little under 1,000 feet elevation gain, out and back trail. The reason this is on here is that everyone and their mother goes and destroys the Three Sisters Falls trail. But the little secret is, if you don't go down and you keep going on that same trail, they share the same trailhead, you actually will climb up and end up at Eagle Peak. And the reason why this was on my list as number 2 is if you time this out, Three Sisters, you want to go after some rainfall generally to actually see the waterfall. Similar story here. I would recommend you combine the 2 into a day hike. If you check out Eagle Peak, and you can see from the photos here, you almost feel like you're somewhere more like in Hawaii or somewhere where you see these beautiful green ridges carved out in the valley and the mountains. You can see Cuyamaca Peak all the way in the back. Very unique view. This is taken from the drone, so it is a bit higher up. Not a lot of places in San Diego that I can tell you can hike and see views like this. Really spectacular, beautiful, beautiful views. Get away from the crowds. Listen, there are no good waterfall hikes in San Diego. Let's just cover that, okay? Three Sisters, everyone wants to go. If there's been massive rainfall, go check it out. If not, who cares? Honestly, go somewhere else. Go to Eagle Peak.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
And number 1 is Lawson Peak Trail. The reason Lawson makes number 1 is because of how fun this hike is. This is not for everybody, so just know that. You can watch the video to learn a little bit more, but I have this as the most underrated because the last mile of this trail is a build your own trail. It is not clear for me and many, if not all the people I've spoken to, the same way you go up will not be the same way you come back down. So you're going under some rocks, you're climbing over things. It's just an enjoyable experience. And then when you get to close to the top, use the rope to get into this cave and you come out and you can get to the peak and hang out there. So very, very unique experience. Beautiful views, would definitely recommend for sunrise or sunset. Probably more for sunrise, just given the location. But number one, Lawson Peak Trail, would definitely recommend you and your friends, whatever it is you want to have a good time hiking and explore. This is a great spot.
Yeah! That was legitness. Yeah.
Those are the top 5 most underrated trails in San Diego. As I mentioned earlier, drop a comment down below if you agree, disagree. Make sure you check out my website under hiking and landscapes. You can click on any of these pictures and see a bunch of trails that I've covered. I'm well over 60 at this point. Oakzanita sits in the 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐤 Rancho State Park area, and the other 4 are in the Cleveland National Forest other area. Happy hiking, and I'll see you guys soon.